All right, we're Skyping, and this first came to be, what, like almost 6 months ago, I think we were talking about this.
It came to be over Facebook, our first Facebooked interview with John Meyer. He is writer for ET Canada, but he's also the author of a fantastic book called Bullets, Butterflies, and Italy. It's a fictional travel memoir. How are you, my friend?
How are you, John?
Very good over here, all the way in beautiful Toronto, Ontario.
Well, and thank you for your patience, because really, you're kind of a guinea pig for us, so.
Oh, really? I love being a guinea pig, cool.
Perfect.
But we really did book this on Facebook because you were updating your status that your book was completed. I love Italy, and the topic matter was great, so here we are. So tell us how it's...
No, it was so amazing. All of a sudden, you pop out of nowhere, going, hi, I don't really know you that well, but you want to do an interview? Yes.
Yes, I do.
6 months. That's how we operate on West Coast time.
Tell us about the book, because it's a fictional travel memoir, and I don't think I've ever read anything in that genre before.
Perfect, because I kind of made it up. What I wanted to do is I've read a lot of travel books where usually it's like a guy who goes on a trip and he tells you all about his trip and all the details. And it's usually, you know, first person, not much stuff happens beyond the trip.
Yeah.
And I was getting kind of bored. So I wanted to do a travel book, but I also wanted to add like a novel stuff too and have some drama. Because I find that especially when you travel with other people, you know, things happen and it completely changes your outlook on your whole trip.
And this is a unique travel experience because there's a love triangle.
Right.
Now, it's also fictional, and what I want to know, fact, fiction,
what's real, what's not.
Where's the line?
Well, I got inspired by, I actually got robbed in Rome and had my money belt stolen a few years ago. And of course, I lost everything, and I was devastated. And then after about 30 seconds of like, what just happened to me, I got at the hotel, didn't have my passport and everything. So then I took care of it all, went to the police station, got a new passport, and went home. And about a year later, I thought, you know what? That's a great story, a start of a book. But my guy doesn't go home. He sticks it out and gets into worse trouble, meets a mobster, and falls in love with a local girl, and other things happen. So I figured, so that part is true. So everything that happens after the robbery, that first, I don't know, 30, 40 pages, pretty much verbatim of what happened to me, except he sticks it out and I went home.
And the character in this book needs some trouble. I mean, desperately in his life, he needs something different to happen to him. Absolutely,
I completely agree with you. And a lot of people think it's based on me, and it kind of is a little bit, because obviously the observations I make about Italians and Italy are mine, but the character is much more, I don't know, obsessed, depressed, a lot of these other things that I am not. Like,
Good to know. We were
I'm
worried,
pretty much
John.
happy-go-lucky, really, especially when I'm traveling. But I had to have him go on a journey. I mean, metaphorically as well as in reality. So he's kind of gloomy for a while, especially in Rome. Yeah. But then things start to turn around when he hits Siena and when he gets back to the Amalfi Coast at the end. So stick with it. When you get halfway through, you're like, man, this guy has got some issues. Keep going because he gets better. But I had to put him in a dark place for a while before he gets into a better place.
And you talk about this idea of him going on this journey, not just metaphorically, but in reality through Italy.
Yeah.
The detail in this, I mean, this is a travel guide. Forget about a memoir. I mean, the detail in this is stunning.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, but I wanted to write it so when people read it, like if you read a lot of travel books, like they will go into, 30 pages about a sculpture or something. Yeah. I just wanted to give it sort of like the Cole's Notes, where I give you a little bit of description about it, but I wanted to give it to you in like bite-sized bits where you can read it for a few paragraphs and then we move on to other things, because I think that way you retain it more. But except for certain parts, like when I get to the Sistine Chapel, I have to admit I spend like a good chapter just on that because it's so amazing.
That's exactly where I am in the book, and it's beautiful.
It would be terrible just to go, oh, by the way, beautiful ceiling, let's move on.
Look up.
Okay, John, I've been to Italy a few times. I've read a lot of travel guides. Most of them warned me about being pickpocketed in Rome and Naples. Did you not read any travel guides?
I know. Well, that's the thing. I mean, he admits, Zack, the main guy, admits that when he gets to Naples, which is why I'm not giving too much away, but he offends a mobster who's from Naples. the guidebooks are, you're right, they just underline it, circle it, star it, you know, be very, very careful. But in Rome, here's the thing. The truth is, I was in Rome when it was like 35, 40 degrees in the morning. And I was going from one hotel to another. It was 2 blocks. So as opposed to putting on this sweaty, gross money belt underneath my shorts, I went, well, I'm going to need this passport in like 2 minutes. So I put it in my pocket of my bag that was right by my heart. Wait a minute, my heart's over here. My heart. And when I got there, in 2 blocks, somebody came by, had reached their arm around me somehow, and unzipped the zipper right by my heart, grabbed everything without me noticing a thing.
How many times have you rethought that moment?
Oh, you obsess.
A million. But you know what? I mean, here's the weird, I mean, now it's so easy to say that, well, it inspired a book that I wrote. But I mean, that's all I can really say, because at that time, during that thing, that whole night, I went to the Spanish Steps where everyone's having a good time. Guys are whistling at girls, people are drinking, whatever. And I'm sitting like this the whole time. How stupid am I? And I'm upset, I'm angry, and you feel like an idiot. And I had 2 college girls staying in my condo who I had booked it off for the summer, like, you guys can stay here. So when I came back after I got robbed, they're like, what are you doing here? Like, no sympathy at all. And I went, wait a minute, I just got robbed. I'm going to be here for a weekend, and then I'll get out of your hair. It's my own place. I'm really sorry about inconveniencing you.
Like, no.
And then I rented a car and I drove across Canada. So but I had no desire to go back to Rome for a while or any place in Italy because I was so sad. But then a year later, I went back and it was glorious.
And now you're going back again, and I love what you're doing with the book. You're going back this summer, and you're going to come full circle. What are you doing on your next trip?
So yeah, I'm going to go back to all the same places that I mentioned in the book, and I'm going to try to see if I can do a little website, swap where hey, I wrote about you in my book, mention, let's put your hotel on my website, and maybe on your website you can mention my book. Now, I have no idea if these guys and gals are going to like it. They're like, what do you mean you wrote about my thing? But I'm going to try. But in the meantime, I'm going to shoot some video because on my website, I have the horse race that I mentioned in Siena. Yeah, the Seattle book. Read that. No, Siena. And I have it actually taped off the television. So it looks ridiculous, but now I'm going to go back this year and actually try to film as much as I can at the racetrack and post it. So I got to keep adding to my website. Like after like 6 months of talking about myself, I need new material.
It's a beast. A beast you have to feed. I look forward to finding out whether Mr. Bowtie is a real person or whether he was something you made up.
Yes, he is. He is. He's the only guy in a bow tie.
I want pictures. Go back and get pictures. Well, we can't wait. We'll have to catch up with you after your next trip. John, thank you so much. Check out the book. What's that? Say that again?
I was to say thanks very much.
Yeah. Our pleasure, man.
Our pleasure. It's called Bullets, Butterflies, and Italy, and you can also go to John's website to find out more. We'll be back with more on Urban Rush right after this. Don't go away.